Welcome back to Screen View Mirror. I'm your host Emma, and you're listening to Screen View Thoughts. On this episode, I thought I could just do a brief solo review of the Coen brothers' 2008 Burn After Reading. So I really liked the movie, and we'll get into the parts that I liked about the movie in a second, but there was just this one element to the film, and I cannot quite put my finger on what it was, but there was just something that I felt was missing. And it's different to say that you watch a movie and you feel like there's something missing versus you watch a movie and you feel like something was overdone. I know that some people have had criticisms of the film by saying the plot was a bit too scattered or the story wasn't well put together, but that's not really the issue that I had with the film, because I sort of just accepted it as this dark comedy, absurd comedy. I honestly don't know what the issue was. I think I'm going to have to take some time and figure that out, because I can't really quite pinpoint what it was, but just something felt incomplete. You know, like in The Big Lebowski when he says that the rug ties a room together. I feel like the film is missing that rug element, something to tie it together. I honestly don't know whether it's with the plot, whether the issue is with the plot or not, but to me the plot seemed okay, because in all honesty, I don't think that was the main thing of the movie. I think for me, when I watch this movie, it's funny because of the dialogue and the brilliant acting and the perfect, I mean really just like from cookie mold to cookie on the baking tray, perfect pairing match with the cast, between the cast and the characters. I mean, even the role actually for what was his name? Osborne Cox. Even the role for that character was specifically written for John Malkovich, and he does a brilliant job, and so does Tilda Swinton, so do George Clooney and Frances McDormand and Brad Pitt, and it was kind of refreshing to see Brad Pitt in this comic kind of like role. If you watch the movie, you'll see what kind of character he is. For those of you who haven't seen the film, go watch the trailer and you'll get a gist of it. It's a really, really great movie, and J.K. Simmons is in there, although I feel like I wanted to see more of him, but it's still a very, very good cast. I haven't seen a lineup like that in a very long time. It was great. So my favorite aspect of the film, actually, if this were what made the film segment, I'd say, okay, the dialogue and just the acting. I think that's really what made the film in this case. But there's just still that, I don't know, missing element that just leaves the film a little bit empty in my view. Another thing that I liked is the fact that even though it's this sort of easy to watch, breezy, but also dark comedy, or like absurd comedy, I think is a more accurate way to describe it, because all the characters they're really oblivious to the outside world. They're really divorced from everyone around them, and so they live in these bubbles and they think these things because they retrieve their information from a particular source. And then when they interact with someone that doesn't live in the same bubble that they do, or that doesn't have the same imagination or, thoughts or whatever, ideas on consequences and so on, assumptions, right, as they do, it brings conflict. But in this case, in the case of this movie, in the case of the plot, in a very comical way. And then going back to the point on the source of information, which I feel like is this kind of the whole thread of the movie in terms of what directs the plot. That's a very nice, I think, element. That's a nice theme to bring into the film, and it's a very serious theme. Information, disinformation, misinformation, the source of truth, right? But it's brought into the film in a very light way. So, and that's something that I like about movies, when they take a very serious topic and they bring it up like it's a theme in the film, but they don't delve into the deep end and try to make a whole big moral argument, whatever, out of it. They just keep the film as a piece of entertainment, but they have those threads of important, I guess, not even messages, but just topics, right? To get the viewer to think about on his or her own. So that's something that I appreciate it as a viewer, because not every movie has to be a moral story. And don't get me wrong, obviously, when there are great movies out there that have serious messages and are hard to watch and very, very thought provoking and all of that, but not every movie has to be like that. And Burn After Reading is definitely part of that second category. So overall, an excellent movie. I definitely recommend it. There's still that something that's blank in there that has to be, I don't know, it needs the rug. But yeah, that's kind of my take on Burn After Reading. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't checked out the movie, please do. And yeah, thanks for listening. Keep watching movies, keep reflecting on cinema, and keep reflecting cinema to others. This was Screen View Thoughts.